If there is one game that sticks out from my earliest years in gaming, it is definitely Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. I remember wanting this game so bad since I had first heard about it. And when Christmas morning came around, I remember almost being brought to tears when I couldn't find it. Talk about a spoiled child. The funny thing was, I had actually gotten the game though, but someone had kicked the present under our nearby couch. Of course, my parents looked high and low while trying not to draw too much attention to it, and we ended up realizing that the dog had pushed it under the couch. When I opened that present, my entire world changed, and one of my greatest adventures began. Now, while Super Mario RPG had many amazing areas, many of which I'll revisit later on in this series, I figured I'd start with one that was always peculiar to me, and that is the Sunken Ship, just off the coast of Seaside Town. To get to the Sunken Ship, you had to traverse through a level that was just called Sea. It was a series of caverns off the shore of the ocean, and upon leaving the cave, you would soon spot the sunken ship beneath the water. Upon entering, you learn over the course of exploring the ship that it had sunk after being attacked by giant squid, which you end up fighting later on. As a child, I didn't really think much of this dungeon, so to speak, when I went through it the first time. I had my eyes set on the prize, which was collecting the remaining star pieces. Even though I knew something fishy was going on in Seaside Town, I pressed on regardless. Later on, after finishing the game, I often explored the previous world I had traveled through, and I found myself coming back to the Sunken Ship. I don't know if I was drawn in through its haunting presence or what, but I enjoyed trekking through it. The puzzles throughout the ship were also enjoyable too, and it was nice to revisit some of them. I often wonder where all the ghost monsters came from that you battle in the ship too. Was the crew mainly Shy Guys and Koopa Troopas who had met a watery grave? And why are they restless and violent? Obviously, it is a role-playing game we are talking about, but I often questioned these silly things as a kid. After the game had been data mined years later, it was revealed in the files that there was an early rendition of the ship that was unused in the game. The top of the ship no longer featured a pipe that Mario could enter, so it was assumed that there was probably some other way to enter it. Perhaps in an earlier rendition of the story, the ship actually sank when you were on it. Maybe Johnny's pirates attacked the ship, or it was their ship to begin with. Perhaps that might even explain why all the cargo aboard the ship has the letter J on it. It's possible that the story with the giant squid was supposed to happen in the present moment, and not actually the past. But these are questions that only a game designer would know, although it didn't stop me from trying to find out as much as possible. I grew to like this rotting ship a lot over time, and the music of the Sunken Ship is instilled in me to this day. It was one of the first music tracks I ever heard in a game that had environmental ambience as part of the mix, as the motion of the water made the wooden hull of the ship twist and moan. It was a very haunting but powerful finishing touch. Add all these things together and you have the perfect ghastly underwater experience. It's a place I'll always remember, and it was a pleasure to revisit it to make this video. I hope you've enjoyed our seabed expedition in this episode of Pixel Portals. But now that I've shared my thoughts, do you have any haunting memories from this ship? Or perhaps you have an area in Super Mario RPG that is dear to you? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in to our deep dive to the ocean floor. If you'd like to join us on our YouTube Voyage and continue on this nostalgia trip, then the subscribe button is just what you're looking for. Thanks for watching, guys and gals, and until our next video, cheers. You've made it to the end of the video, but wait, your quest isn't over yet. I hope you enjoyed this haunting trip to the past. If you haven't seen our previous episodes, perhaps you'd like to check out Dragon Tooth Island or Gelato Beach. We'll be sure to tackle more places in the future, but in the meantime, I hope you enjoy.